who is Chef Bob? Wow. Um, I am I wear a lot of hats. I wear a hat as a chef. I wear a hat as an event planner, both front and back of the house, which gives me a unique perspective. When I ask for something, chefs know what I'm asking for when I'm in the front of the house. And when I ask for something from the front of the house when I'm in the kitchen, they know I know what I'm asking for and what it's going to mean. I'm a father, I'm a boyfriend, I'm a friend, I'm a lot of different things. I was born in northern New Jersey, which I love being from New Jersey. And I lived in New Jersey until I went to college. And then I moved to upstate New York to Saratoga Springs. While I was in Saratoga Springs, I worked as a real estate broker. I owned a real estate franchise and was very successful. Enjoyed it. I loved the salesman piece of it. I loved the staging. I loved all the customer service parts of it. All really interacting with my clients. It's what I really strived on. And as I was thinking about my life and what I wanted to do, I decided that as successful as I was, what I ended up becoming in the end was really a closer. And I didn't really do a lot of the things that I enjoyed in my business. Other than make money, I didn't really do anything except be brought in to close the deal. And I decided that I didn't want to do that with the rest of my life, and I was rather young. So I thought about what I wanted to do with my life, and I thought, well, I love to entertain, I love to cook, and I could be a chef. I could own a bed and breakfast or an inn, and that was very interesting to me. So as a business owner, I decided, well, how will I be successful at that? Well, I should probably go to culinary art school. Probably be a good thing to do. I know how to cook, but I don't know how to really cook. And so I did. So in the middle of my giant real estate career, I stepped back, and while that was running, I went to culinary art school. And I was accepted at CIA and accepted at Johnson & Wales and decided to go to Schenectady College because it was close to my house. And I had 2 small kids, and I had a real estate company that I was running. And it was one of the best decisions that I made because as a small culinary arts school, they afforded me a lot of flexibility. They gave me all of the education that I really needed, and they were wonderful to me. And they're still, many of the professors at that school are still dear friends of mine, and I love that as I've worked with them over the years now, and they've been wonderful. So at Culinary Arts School, the very first semester that I was there, I think 3 weeks into it, I received a call from the dean of the Culinary Arts program, Dr. Stryanese, who I love, and he said, Bob, I think you need to apply for this internship. Okay, what does that mean? He said, well, it's for the Kentucky Derby, and I think you need to do it. I think you'd be perfect for it, and I would love for you to do it. Okay, well, what does it pay? It pays $175. Awesome. Is that like per day or what? No, that's for like the entire 10 days. So 10 days. Yeah, that's what it pays. Okay, so I did it. I made arrangements and I did it, and that was the very first special event that I've ever done. And I've done 18 derbies since then. And so that put me on par to do what I normally do, which is giant sporting events, giant conventions, feeding 2 million people a year. And it all started right there. I do front and back of the house, so I do a lot of event management, which is coordinating a meal hall for a large convention where we'll serve 10,000 people breakfast, we'll serve 15,000 people lunch, 12,000 people dinner, and then we'll do a small reception for 8,000, all in one day. And do it again the next day, and the next day, and the next day, which a lot of my friends are doing right now for SAP at the Convention Center. So there's that aspect of it, and then in between those events, we coordinate events for private clients that I have, as well as a lot of the charity work that I do, because I do a lot of charity work for a half a dozen large charities in and around Central Florida that I commit a lot of my time and efforts to. So it's as Kristen, my marketing director, says, it's a lot of spinning plates. It's a lot of spinning plates. So it's different in that I don't have to wake up and go to a restaurant every day. I don't have to wake up and go to a convention center every day. I don't have to wake up and go to a stadium every day. And for me, that's what keeps me excited, because next week I'll be working at a stadium doing a football game. And the week after that, I'll be at a convention in California doing a convention for a large corporation. And then in between those two events, I'll be doing a private party for 20 people in someone's house in Winter Park. And to me, that's all why I love what I do, because I don't do the same thing every day. I do something different. No week, no month of mine looks the same from year to year to year to year. So it keeps it exciting for me. It's a lot of stress. It's a lot of logistics. I couldn't do it without the support of Kristen and my family and my friends and my team and all the people that keep me pointed forward, balanced, and focused, and halfway sane. I wouldn't do what I do if I didn't love to cook, and I love to cook. I really do love to cook. And I get excited about different things. I go to the farmers markets every weekend. I find what's fresh, I find what's new, I find what's exciting, and then I build stuff around that for our menu for the week. And Kristen is gluten-free, and I'm trying to be gluten-free. And so it's fun to try and create gluten-free menus and recipes that have no difference in taste, texture, or appearance than a gluten-filled recipe. And so for me, it's fun to do that and have it be the same net result. So I love experimenting in the kitchen, and I chat with my chef friends. I have a lot of friends who are chefs, and I'm excited when they come up with something different and new, and we share with each other, and we go out and hang out and talk about different things together, and we feed off each other. And so I'm excited to come home and cook. I have a beautiful kitchen, which I love. I have a beautiful garden, which grows most of what I need. So why would I not take advantage of that? You can take a grilled cheese sandwich, and you can create it in such a way that it becomes art. You can create a peanut butter and jelly sandwich that becomes art. And so for me, the art piece of it is, for example, yesterday I was talking with a client, and we were handcrafting a menu for McDonald's marquee fundraising event. And so we created a really fun concept together. And then I spent a couple of hours creating the art piece of that. Well, what does it look like? What does it mean for the client? What are they going to see? What are the guests going to see? And so I had fun with the art piece of that. I let myself be the artist and say, okay, this is my vision. Now I know what I want. And then I'll step back into the managerial role of, okay, well, we have to staff it. We have to organize it. We have to do all the logistics for it. We have to work on that piece of it. So the manager hat comes on. And then when we get to the actual event, it will be me creating that vision back as the artist. Before you arrived tonight and I staged my kitchen for what we're going to be cooking, I was the art person in that. And I went right from manager to artist and bounced back and forth. So for me, it's both. I know for a lot of the chefs that I know, it's both. The good ones. My love of cooking came from cooking with my mother. And I have so many fond memories of cooking with my mother in our kitchen in New Jersey, and her always being stressed, always being busy, and always going 1,000 miles an hour, and still creating incredible food. And so I would cook with her, side by side, and learn how to do different things, how to make different things, basic food, but still really had a lot of heart and a lot of soul to it. And my father at the time, I know, only cooked one thing. He cooked one thing, and he cooked it really well, and that was it. And that was his big thing maybe 3 times a year. He cooked this one thing. And it was great. And so I could see that, yes, a man could cook, and that's great, but I loved cooking with my mom. It was just, I just have so many fond memories. She used to stand like a flamingo with her leg cocked up on the side, which I'm not going to do, even though I have done it many, many times. But I think you get the vision. And she would stand like this. And anytime I came in the kitchen, if she was going to stand at the stove for more than 3 minutes, that's how she stood. I guess it was comfortable for her. So I stood like that a lot too, and it's actually very comfortable if you can imagine. And so when I think about where I learned how to cook and why I love how to cook, it was mostly of seeing my mom standing like a flamingo in front of the stove. Why chef? Why be a chef? I think for all those reasons that we've talked about. I mean, I really love what I do. I love creating. I love art. I love making people happy. I love putting a plate in front of someone and having them say, wow, that's really, really good. I love creating a tablescape. I love creating an environment. I love creating an event. I love creating something where someone or someone's, and it can be 12,000 people at a time, sit down and say, wow, this is great. I love this. And I love the experimentation part of it. I love trying different things. I love growing different things to try different things and putting different things together, and that it's always evolving. It's always different. It's always changing. There's always ways that things either come back full circle or they start to do different things with them. And they pair different things together. And I love that it's a community that loves to share. And if I were an accountant that worked in a cubicle every day for 30 years, I would die a little bit every day. That's just not me. And I'm so glad there are people like that, thank you God, but that's just not me. So for me, why I'm a chef is for those reasons. If you don't believe in service, if you don't get joy out of making other people happy, then please don't get in hospitality or customers or culinary arts. Because most of the time you're not going to make people happy. Most of the time you're just going to do a job that's going to ultimately make people happy that you're not going to know about. So please do it for yourself. Do it because you love to create something. Do it because you love to serve people, that you love to help people have an enjoyable experience. And know that a lot of times you're not going to get back from that. But the few times that you do will carry you through. When that one guest gives you great recognition, when that one guest sends an email because of something that you did, when that one guest just sincerely tells you how much you made their night, then that will make it worth it. I used to do, years ago, I used to work as a server at some of my partner restaurants in between events just because I wanted to be able to be grounded. I wanted to be able to say, yes, I was a manager for this event last night, but you know what I'm doing today? Today I'm serving lunch. I'm working as a server at a local restaurant. And I had a guest come in. It was a Disney property restaurant. I had a woman come in with her son. She had a baby. She was by herself. Her husband and her other son were back at the hotel because they were exhausted. She needed a little bit of mommy time and came to this restaurant, and she had this baby. And she was done. She was just done. And the baby was fussing with her, and she just wanted to have a nice meal. So I said to her, I said, do me a favor. I said, let me take the baby. I'll walk around the restaurant with the baby. I had 3 other tables, by the way. Let me walk around the restaurant with the baby, and you just take a couple of minutes. Just by yourself, just take a couple minutes. And she couldn't believe I was going to do that. So I took the baby. Being a server in my position like that gave me a lot of leeway, by the way. I was allowed to do a lot of things you weren't supposed to do as a server. So I just pretty much did whatever I wanted to do. And the manager just gave me leeway. So I'm walking around the restaurant with a baby. He was like 2 years old, sound asleep on my shoulder. I'm taking orders. I'm handing it off. I had some of the other team members in the restaurant were helping me out, cover tables with me. They were just helping me out. I'm walking around. So the manager of the restaurant, never forget, he comes up and he looks at me and he goes, so you have a baby? Is it someone's? Mm-hmm. Are they still here? Mm-hmm. Okay, Bob. Okay. Everything's good? Yeah, everything's great. Okay, great. So I walk around with this baby for an hour, an entire hour. Closed out 2 other tables, finished up with 1 other table, didn't take any other tables. And I came back to this woman. She was 180 degrees different. She went from being just, looked like she got hit by a truck, to calm and relaxed and just so happy. And she had asked me periodically, are you okay? Is everything, you want me to take? I'm like, no, I'm good. Everything's fine. Eat, enjoy. And so she had a wonderful experience. So I give her the baby back. She gives me this big hug and a kiss. And off she goes. She had a great night. Like a month later, we're at a pre-shift meeting, and I only worked at this restaurant maybe like 8 times ever. I'm back, and the manager is talking in the pre-shift, and he says, I have to read a letter from one of our past guests. And so he's reading the letter, and I'm half paying attention, to be honest. And he said, and Bob, I'm like, Bob? And he went on to explain this letter, this giant letter, handwritten letter that this lady sent to Disney, not even to the restaurant, to Disney, about this experience that she had, and that was her best night of the entire vacation. Which, I don't know what that says for the rest of the vacation or Disney, but I was happy I was able to give her that best night. So experiences like that for new people, when you see an opportunity, take advantage of the opportunity. That was an opportunity. And I think the difference between being successful and not being successful, or going from good to great in anything, but especially in hospitality, is seeing an opportunity and taking advantage of it.